Beth, yesterday we were talking about that most self-respecting growers, shippers, and processors will tell you they've got good PTI compliant, one up, one back lot level traceability.
Yeah.
Why is the FDA getting involved? What are your thoughts?
So the one up, one back has always been a regulatory requirement, not from a necessarily a food safety standpoint, but from a food defense standpoint. So that was already in the Ag Bioterrorism Act from years and years ago. We've simply adopted it from a food safety standpoint so that we can not only meet the Bioterrorism Act, but we can also use it and leverage it from a food safety standpoint. I do think that it's enough, and I tell you, I was relieved, I guess, to read in the rule, and I'll admit that I haven't made it all the way through, but relieved to hear and to see that we're not really getting away from one up, one back necessarily. That's still the expectation, to know one step where it came from and then one step up where it went. So FDA getting involved is, I feel like they're already involved, but it will probably be nice from an overall industry standpoint to have a little more standardization. When we have attempted this across the industry in the past, it was actually the industry itself that couldn't get on the same page. As marketers and buyers would come up with a requirement, those that I primarily represent downstream, which again are the grower, packer, shippers, those are the ones that really had to implement the PTI changes, only to find out a few years down the road that the retailers weren't actually always implementing it. Some of them took it and have held on to it and are moving forward, where there are others that aren't. So organizations like HarvestMark and others like them make PTI compliance easy. It's very much attainable. And so again, having software and technology enabled organizations already at our fingertips, it's probably one of those, and there's no probably, it's a little bit of a scary thing because typically the agricultural industry is slow moving when it comes to adopting new things. Bottom line is change makes us nauseous. We don't like change. We want everything to stay the same all the time.
It's true.
But knowing that we're going to be asked and encouraged and nudged to adopt technology that is ultimately going to come through those regulatory pipelines, it is good to know that we're going to have at least a couple of years before all of this is required, and that 24-month period that's being proposed right now will not start until we get a final rule. And the draft rule, the proposed rule, was just given out. So we've got some time. So those early adopters of technology, when it comes to digital data, not just electronic forms, but digital data, and those that are going ahead and moving forward with traceability solutions that integrate, they're just going to be ahead of the curve, in my opinion.